Hi, my name is Danielle Fergus.
And I'm Scott Brown, and you're watching the Social and Personality Show.
Today, we will be talking about self-regulation in children and teenagers.
If you are a parent and feel that your child or teenager has trouble regulating their emotions, then today's show will be great for you to watch.
We will be going over how self-regulation is defined and what other words can be used to describe self-regulation. We will also be discussing why self-regulation is necessary and what can happen if a child or teenager does not have self-regulation.
We will then move on to discuss symptoms of a child that does not have self-regulation and interventions to help this child. We will then do the same for teenagers.
No! Take me home! No! Take me home! No!
Alex, you are grounded for the rest of the summer.
No!
All summer.
No!
Then
No!
knock it off.
Only take me home!
No!
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 I don't want to go!
We will end today's segment by discussing some resources that you as a parent can go to help your child and teenagers. Self-regulation can be defined as the ability to monitor and control our own behavior, emotions, or thoughts, which may include altering them to go along with the types of situations that we are in. In terms of emotionally, self-regulation can be defined as the ability to calm yourself down when you're upset and cheer yourself up when you're down. For example, if your child is playing a game with their sibling or friend and often gets annoyed at something that their brother or sister does, you can give your child a way to self-regulate themselves. This can be as simple as focusing on the game and what their next move will be rather than paying attention to what the other person is doing. In addition to the term self-regulation, some resources, for example books or teachers, may use different words to explain self-regulation. It is important that you understand these other words so you can be prepared if you're looking at research or talking to someone about your child's behavior. Some of the words that are often used are self-control and self-management. It is very important for your children to have self-control because if your child has good regulation skills, there is a better chance that they will have a smooth, successful school adjustment. In addition, for those of you that have children that haven't gone to kindergarten yet, the research shows that if your child enters kindergarten with good self-regulation skills, they may have the ability to stay focused, stay on task, and hinder impulsivity. They then have a better chance of succeeding and adapting to school life easily in terms of academics and socially. It is also very important for your child or teenager to have self-regulation skills because research has shown that if they do not, these lack of skills can be associated with things like ADHD, eating disorders, and risk-taking behavior.
There are ways in which you can determine whether or not your child can self-regulate. For example, children without self-regulation skills are typically children who have reached school age and still frequently have emotional outbursts or breakdowns, or are unable to manage their emotions properly. A clinical psychologist, Dr. Matthew Ruse, said these outbursts or breakdowns can be displayed in two ways. A child can have an irrational, immediate reaction to a particular moment, or stress can build up and lead to one big meltdown.
No!
Then knock it off.
Only take me home!
No!
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 I don't want to go!
It doesn't matter.
No, yes it does! No!
Stop it.
Take me home!
I am the mother.
Take me home!
You are gonna listen.
Take me home! No!
One easy intervention that can be performed to help your child develop self-regulation skills has to do with toys. Research shows that when children were provided with toys to play with, their self-regulation skills automatically increased. In addition, this study mentioned how the quality of the toy did not matter. For example, it can be as simple as stacking cups or paper clips. This way, the child has a toy and something to focus on, but it can even be with common things that are found around the house.
Remember that children are not the only ones who suffer from not having self-regulation skills. Teens are also at risk for not self-regulating properly. Teenagers without self-regulation could act out in more sophisticated and harmful ways than children without self-regulation. Teenagers who are not able to self-regulate are less likely to succeed in school and are more likely to drop out. Other risks can be even more dangerous, such as the teenager inflicting self-harm. In order to make sure that your teen is managing their emotions, parents should look at their own self-regulation skills. More specific ways in which parents can help their children is through helping them establish routines and goals and actively staying involved in making sure that their child is sticking to these routines and goals. Once you have trust that your child will follow through with their routines and goals, you can let your teen be more independent. Another great way to make sure your teen is managing their emotions is through self-talk. If a child is talking through their tasks or what is going on around them, they can better recognize when they are thinking negatively because they are saying their feelings out loud.
And parents are pivotal. Children learn to self-regulate from their parents. So that relationship is so important to that process. And that's what parents need to understand. Children learn to regulate from them. So their behavior, their response to their child when their child is in distress is actually what's going to help their child to learn how to regulate their emotions.
But don't feel like you have to help your child alone. There are plenty of other people and places you can look to for help.
Your child's school or teacher is a great resource to use.
Schools often have school psychologists or guidance counselors who are trained to help students with these sorts of challenges. Sports can also provide an outlet for your child that can teach them valuable skills that they may need to become better at managing their emotions. For example, in sports, you have to work together with your teammates and monitor them as well as yourself.
Lastly, your community and neighborhood are important as well. They can often see when your child is following the rules in public places and react when your child is not following the rules outside of the home environment.
We hope that you learned something about self-regulation today, and we will see you next time on the Social and Personality Show.